Ooh. Okay, so what I've brought along here a copy of the original presentation drawing for Yuen Longtown Park, right? And you can see I was working with BCP, August 1985.
Wow, that old.
GSC, Gavin Scott Coates. There you go. You see. So this is a historical document, but you can see that the basics of the design remain roughly the same. You know, we did get to build the pagoda, which we'll have a look at more closely later. The basic idea was to use the topography of this existing hill to our advantage to create as many different experiences as we could within the park. This area down here, in fact, previously was covered in so-called temporary housing. Right, so all of this was temporary, small, just little cottages, like a cottage village, temporary housing here on this slope, and they were all demolished and removed. But there were not many trees in that area, so this was an area where we could do quite a lot of sculpting of the topography. So the idea was to get a contrast between the pagoda, taking advantage of the height of the hill, and really to emphasize that and build on that, and so that you could go right up to the top, right, of the pagoda. You can go up to the top of the pagoda. I'm hoping it's open. I don't know yet. And contrasting with that, but as close as possible, digging down into the hillside to create a waterfall, and a kind of a much more sort of forested. And a little river and a pond down here, to get two completely different contrasting sort of experiences in the park. And we'll see later how successful I was or not. A few things that did and didn't happen. You can see that we had grand plans for a great big lake right in this area over here, but we ran out of budget and so we couldn't do that. So we just have a lawn instead. But actually, as we walk around, you'll see that people are playing around on this park. It's so wonderful to see with people actually using the park and playing around on it. So I always think when I see that, then it's successful, right? It's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and people are coming here and enjoying themselves and having picnics and all sorts of things. Here are the gum tap over here, the bone pots in this area here. So we did get the pagoda, we did get the waterfall and the pond, although not quite as big as I was hoping. But the basics of the design are still there. One thing is that on this project we basically blew a whole lot of the budget on the pagoda, and the pagodas don't come cheap, so we spent a lot of the money on the pagoda. The result was that there really wasn't much money for the rest of the park. But that's great. It's an advantage, because it's just as you go around, you'll see it's just paths and grass and planting. And it's become, it's one of those parks which is quite understated, with the exception of the pagoda, which is this kind of monstrosity in the middle. But that's all you need. Sometimes you don't need to just design stuff for the sake of it. Anyway, we can discuss this more as we walk around in a minute.